Hey y'all, thanks for stopping by. So today's January 20th of 2025, which means in the United States we're celebrating Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And also, in a few states in the South, we're celebrating Robert E. Lee Day, because we have to have equality in the United States. We have to tell both sides of the story. But this January 20th is a little different. It is Inauguration Day, or the day where the incoming president swears in on whatever book of their choosing to say that they're going to be the new president. This will be the first time in my lifetime that a president has served not consecutive terms, so that's a little weird. And possibly an even weirder thing about this Inauguration Day is the speeches are going to be held inside. Maybe you've seen pictures from the past of presidential inauguration speeches where they're all, typically a large crowd will gather for this first speech to see the president get sworn in, and that won't happen this time because it's too cold outside. I'm sure there are some conservative talking heads who are making jokes about, well, if global warming was actually real, we could give this speech outdoors in swim trunks with how much they say we're killing the planet. Most of them were already on the way to Washington, D.C. when it was called that the speeches were going to be moved indoors. So they're all booked up in hotels, just kind of moseying around the Capitol, waiting for something to happen. And I don't think we're going to get a repeat of the last time Trump was in D.C. with a bunch of his supporters, but time will tell. There are a lot of protesters in D.C. today, just people who are there to voice their concerns and dissent against the incoming administration. And one of them in particular is the sitting representative from New York, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC as she is more commonly known. She released a video, maybe it was on TikTok, maybe it was on Blue Sky, I don't know where she put it out at, saying why she wasn't going to show up to the inauguration. If you haven't seen that clip, we can watch it together now.
All these journalists are like, Congresswoman, are you going to the inauguration? Congresswoman, are you going to the inauguration? Are you going to the inauguration? Let me make myself clear. I don't celebrate rapists. So no, I'm not going to the inauguration tomorrow.
Now, it should stand to note, before you get outraged at her calling Donald Trump a rapist, what she's saying is legally correct. Donald Trump was found guilty of defaming E. Jean Carroll in court on charges that he sexually assaulted her. Because he was found guilty of defaming her, saying she didn't do that, that means a court says that he did do that. That means he sexually assaulted that woman. That means he is a rapist. A court said that. This isn't some hearsay thing. This doesn't have anything to do with any settlements that may have been paid out of pocket to people or outside of courts. This only has to do with the legal system. And in a court of law, Donald Trump was found guilty of defaming somebody for saying that he did not rape them. Now, I bring that up to say the only reason this video showed up in my feed is because one of the more larger propagandists of the modern right, Libs of TikTok, Shia Reichik, took it upon herself to say that AOC should be sued for this by Donald Trump. This is just another person Trump should sue. And that should be outrageous, but I'm just not surprised by it anymore. Lots of these conservatives like to hide behind the veil of free speech. That means they can say anything they want, whether it's a lie or not, because, well, it's free speech. And there are some limits to that, of course. If you knowingly tell lies, that could get you hemmed up in court, depending on how you read certain court cases. But as I've said, it should stand to know, what AOC said here is not a lie. And especially coming from Libs of TikTok, who we just made a video about a few days ago, calling one of our sitting representatives a groomer for being openly trans and reading to children in her constituency, somehow that's okay and shouldn't get you sued because it's free speech, but telling the truth about someone who's about to take the highest seat of power in the United States, that's lawsuit worthy. Frankly, I do think this is a sign of things to come. Now that the modern right has essentially a trifecta across the United States seats of power, I fear these types of attacks on our free speech and our expression will escalate. Modern right-wing propagandists like to herald themselves as these masters of free speech, that you should be able to say and do anything you want on the internet without fear of retaliation. But it's never been about that for them. It's always been about just being able to control the conversation and about silencing any dissent and criticism that may come from their party. No matter how true it is, it doesn't matter. If you're going against the man in charge, that means you're an enemy. Now, at the point of recording, Trump hasn't been sworn in yet, and I don't think I'm going to make a sort of update video on that. I'm pretty sure that's going to go over without a hitch, but if anything strange happens with that, I'm sure I'll be here. So unless something weird happens with that, y'all just try to have a good day.